Where would you like to see the relationship between the two characters go?
I think this season really gave us a taste of that. Why are you being all bashful?
I'm trying to be
coy.
No, yeah, calculated, careful, cautious.
I want to hear you answer this question.
Well, no, I think you're gonna see. I mean, we already know where it's going. We wrapped filming the season, so I'm trying to answer this question without already knowing.
Right.
I know exactly where it's going, but in saying that,
there's some spoiler information in here.
You wouldn't want us to, though. Everybody thinks they'd want us to, but you wouldn't.
To be spoiled, but
the thing is, Duke and Audrey's relationship is going to change drastically over the next even few episodes.
We already started seeing the beginnings of that.
Yeah.
But and also knowing where the season went, I gotta hand it to the writers again. They've now kind of really just opened up this new door, and the potential of where it could go, I honestly don't know. And there's a lot more space and places for it to go, actually. So now thinking about your question, being able to remove myself from knowing what I already know about this season, I would like to really see these characters have to make a choice. I think choices are always forced upon them, whether it be with Audrey and Duke, or Audrey and Nathan, or Duke and Nathan. The choices are always sort of forced upon them. They're always sort of in effect of what's been happening. And I think it would be really neat. And I think in some ways, Audrey, Emily's character, did in some ways, we've seen at the beginning of this season with Nathan, she sort of made a decision about where that relationship was going to be allowed to go or not. But I would like us to start to sort of take the emotional, roller coaster that we've been going on and start to say, yes, I want to take this place, or no, I will no longer engage in this. And we've never really seen that. We've just sort of seen them bouncing off the walls and all this craziness that's going on. So
I think along those same lines, because while you're talking, I was just reminded of a whole other part of their art. I think that, like he's saying, there's so much flirting that happens between the two of them, and this really great complex friendship that happens between the two of them.
What do you mean flirting?
There is. There's always been that.
You flirt with me?
Yes. Audrey flirts with Duke. Yes. but what it's funny, the choice, like what he's saying in terms of making a choice, I think the girly side of that for me is what I want them to face something. I don't want them to face it and then have something intervene or take them out of that. I want them to have to face something head on. And I mean, they sort of have to do that in this season, but I mean, I want them to face it and deal with it and sit with dealing with it and see where that kind of puts them. I mean, a bigger way, because it's boring to sit and just talk about it, but I mean, I want that to be their reality, to have to face it instead of dance around it all the time.
And I also want some answers as to what is this connection between them.
Yeah.
Beyond as just becoming friends or having this relationship as people. There's obviously this
deeper understanding of each other, I think.
Generational, connection of, why was my character as a little kid at the beach with her when they found the Colorado kid's body? Right. We've never really gotten to that. That's obviously good. Our families have a longer, history. There's questions about that. So I think, all those things.
So take this interview, bold this part, and send it to the writers on Twitter, and maybe something will come of this wonderful round table.
My other question then is, what I didn't quite understand what happened in episode 3, where Audrey actually does say, I need you to kill this man. And Duke, for season 1, we see him as this rambling man, and he's a dangerous man, and if danger's there, he's going to handle it. So I almost don't understand Duke's hesitance when there's a man killing his children.
This is the question.
And there's a man who's almost dying, and he can actually do something and save this person without. It's more a mercy kill.
So, okay, I'm so happy to talk about this. Because I read the script of that episode and I went, I don't get it. I was like, why is this a big deal? I'm like, this makes no sense to me. I'm like, you're wrong. Like, Duke's killed people before, and then Matt McGinnis, our showrunner, who really, he came on second season. Mm-hmm. It was really the showrunner this season.
Yeah.
He was like, what do you mean Duke's killed people? I'm like, Duke's killed people. He's been in trouble. He's had things, like, he's not a sweet guy. I'm like, even in season 1, when I thought there was somebody behind a wall, I pulled a trigger on the guy's face. I'm like, he is a morally questionable person in some ways. Although he may have a good heart, but regardless, he's killed people. This is not a hard choice. This guy's a killer. He's going to die anyways.
We're going to switch tables in 3 minutes.
It's going to save his family. Why wouldn't he just kill them? This is stupid. I was pissed. And then Sam, in his wisdom, and Matt, in his wisdom, said, you missed the point. What are you talking about? They said, it's about his choice. His whole reality right now is fighting this so-called destiny, is fighting this presumed role that he's supposed to play. And all this act does, it's not the killing part that's hard for him. It is the inability to get out of the maze. It's winding up in the same place over and over, that he has no choice, and the idea that he doesn't have control of his fate, which is all he's been holding on to, is that if I don't want to be this guy, I don't have to be this guy, and I can stop from being this guy, and he just keeps getting pushed in his face. So that became really what the turmoil was about. It wasn't about just killing the human being, because I agree, I don't think Duke, given the right circumstances, has any qualms about killing. I know that may sound harsh, but I don't think he does.
Dovetailing off of that a little bit, I think there was an element of being heartbroken. He was heartbroken that Audrey perceived him as a killer and didn't trust him enough to come home and say, this is our situation, how do you feel?
Yeah, manipulated him into that situation.
The betrayal of that, I think, was a huge part of it. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, that's not like Audrey making amends as a result, because she's broken his heart. That trust is no longer there that he implicitly had for her, that she would always be good with him.
I think that this winding time clock for her, that she has X amount of days until the whatever happens, and whatever happens, really takes the camera lens in her life and cranks it into focus and makes things very black and white for her. She only has this much time left, and so what can she do with that time she's had? It's as if she's been given we kept saying, like a cancer diagnosis. I have this many days left. What am I going to do with that time? And as much as it forces her to make these decisions regarding, we see her fumble with that, which is what I love. It's not clean. You know, she's like, okay, it sucks that I have to ask him to do this, but it's going to save so many X amount of people. So at the time that I have, I would save all these children and all these people, the greater good, moral question. So I think you saw her a bit in last night's episode fumble to make amends with him, and she deals with he doesn't let her off the hook easily at all. I remember several episodes later, them talking about our relationship. I'm like, are you aware of the look that he gave me at the end? Like, he is not okay with me. This is not just reset the button at the beginning of every episode. We are not in a good place, So I think that there was a lot of fumbling for her, and I think it causes her to be off her rocker a bit. She's not in a good place now with either the two people that she could always be in a good place with. So I think that's good television, in my opinion. Good storytelling.